Hi, I'm Peter Smith, the editor of Spend Matters UK Europe. Now IBM have published a paper. It's their Chief Procurement Officer study, and it's based on the results of what's probably the biggest ever survey of senior procurement executives. So IBM surveyed 1,128 executives from 22 countries. Pretty impressive. The report gets into three key attributes which I rather like, which IBM have defined in terms of procurement excellence and procurement performance. The first they call fundamental capabilities, and this is really about dependably delivering value to the organisation. And it covers, I wouldn't say necessarily basic topics, but things like sourcing processes, category management, supplier management. So do you deliver that value on a day-to-day basis? The second attribute they talked about is being influential within your organisation. And that's clearly important because if we think about it, there's not much point being really good at procurement if you can't actually influence anybody internally. The third attribute then is about bringing innovative ideas into the organisation from the supply market. So that might be things like, for instance, value chain re-engineering. So we're getting into the more sophisticated procurement techniques here. And not surprisingly, that's the toughest of the three attributes to achieve. So IBM reckon around half the firms who responded are capable, as they define them, about a third are influential, but only just over a quarter are actually innovative. Then IBM looked at the intersection of those three attributes, so they looked at the firms who actually scored well on all three, and that gave them 15% of the sample who they define as high performers. I like the terminology then that IBM used. 38% of the sample don't actually score very well on any of the three attributes, and rather kindly IBM called them emerging performers. Anyway, the report then gets into which factors really distinguish the top performers from the rest, and there's lots of useful and thought-provoking material there. And just pulling out one area, for instance, it suggests that using a range of performance metrics for the procurement function is a good definition, if you like, of the high performers. It's something the high performers do. Perhaps the most interesting point from the whole report, though, is that top performers, those companies, actually have on average a profit margin that's around 1 percentage point higher than the average for the whole sample. Now, 1 percentage point doesn't sound that much higher, but actually what it means is the top performers are making on average just over 7% profit. The whole sample, it was about 6%. So that extra 1% is in effect a 16-17% higher profit margin. Now, when I wrote about this on the Spend Matters website, some of my learned correspondents and readers pointed out that correlation is not the same as causality, which is absolutely true. So we can't know that those companies make more profit just because they're good at procurement. But when we think about it, I mean, we would expect firms who are better at procurement to make more profit. I mean, if we don't expect that, then why are we all bothering with procurement in the first place? So, it's interesting material, it's interesting ammunition, I think, for procurement functions to take to their finance directors and their boards to say there is a value in what we're doing. There's a lot more good material in the report. As I say, you can download it now. It's free on registration from the Spend Matters website.